Yes, good evening, or good afternoon, or good morning. Um, However, the condition is wherever you are across the globe, across the planet Earth. But here in city of Chicago, it's evening time. Um, I'm doing this video because of our presidential candidate. His name is Omoyele Sowore. And I believe in his candidacy. I believe in his vision for Nigeria. I believe in everything that he stood for to do for Nigeria, and especially the Nigerian populace. But I do have a great concern in regards to one of the well-known pastor across the Eastern Europe. His name is Pastor Sunday Adelaja. Pastor Sunday Adelaja has probably around, if not more than 400 churches in Eastern Europe. And then I believe the headquarters is in Kiev in Ukraine. Why I'm trying to intertwine these two together, because some people might say, why is he talking about Pastor Sunday Adelaja, who is a pastor in a church, and they're also talking about Omoyele Sowore, who happens to be a politician now, trying to become the next Nigerian president? Well, I have no choice to name these two or probably bring the two into the picture. The reason is not far-fetched, and this is because Pastor Sunday Adelaja himself kind of delved into politics. And I can tell you that in religion, you can find politics. In politics, there are people with religious belief. And sometimes they use their religious belief to direct the affair of politics. However, what the religion teaches is different from what the politicians are doing. And Pastor Sunday Adelaja came into the picture because he was talking about the current dispensation in politics. And then he made mention of political parties, and then some are old, which is the APC and the PDP, and then some are young, which is the like of AAC. And he so much talked about this individual, their capacity based on their background, academic background, and what they have been able to do for themselves so far. Now, he talked about APC, that he believed in APC because of General Muhammadu Buhari's status quo when it comes to his position, what he has been able to do before becoming the Nigerian president, and then the structure in place. He also talked about the structure of a PDP. You know, there's nothing wrong in having a political structure. I understand that. But he now said that even though Sowore is young, energetic, and vibrant, that he doesn't believe in that kind of he believes in miracle, but he doesn't believe in that kind of a miracle because Omoyele Sowore does not have political structure. I, however, became astonished when I heard that, because as a pastor, you cannot say you believe in miracle, but you don't believe in a particular type of a miracle. In my own opinion, miracle is miracle. Now, I'm going to delve into the Bible, though I'm not a Christian, because the Bible is the basic fundamental structure on which most pastors, reverend, bishop, name it, evangelists use in their doctrination in the church. However, it seems some pastors are selective. They quote from the Bible when it favors them, and then they use the same quotation in a different direction when it doesn't favor them or it doesn't go in the way they want. Now, why did I say that? It's because when I read an interview granted Pastor Sunday Adelaja when he was in Nigeria, does he ever think he's going to become a pastor? While he was a young boy, he says no. But he said one thing. When he was 15, there's this man who has or had master's degree in abroad, came home and then become the head of a church. He admired the way the man preaches, and then he made up his mind that he would like to be like him. However, one way or the other, he found his way to Russia, and then he was ordained as a minister. I'm talking about Pastor Sunday Adelaja when he was 19. And then he didn't start ministering until 1 year after, which means when he was 20. But let's fast forward. Today, he has over 400 churches in Eastern Europe. And then the head office is probably, not the head office, the head church is in Kiev, Ukraine. But the interviewer now asked him, do you believe in a miracle, or what is your definition of miracle? Yeah, he said he believed in miracle. And his own definition of miracle is something that is beyond human ability, human capacity, something of a supernatural intervention, which means something that you think is not possible, but however, it becomes possible. That is something supernatural intervention, something beyond human comprehension. Now, why would you now say that you believe in miracle, but you do not believe in that type of miracle because Omoyele Sowore does not have the kind of structure that APC and PDP has? That is illogical. There's no logic in that kind of a statement. Now, if you have support or a mind for APC, there's nothing wrong in it. You can be affiliated with any of the political parties, but do not intertwine politics with religion and then say something religiously when it favors you and then twist it the other way when it doesn't favor you. Now, I'm not against you. You've done so well. I'm talking about Pastor Sunday Adelaja. But I would like to take a quote from the Bible. Now I'm going to be talking about King David. Before he became a king, he's a little boy, a shepherd boy, that runs around the huts in the bush. Right? And when King Saul, started derailing from the way of God, it was around the time to select another king of Israel. And Prophet Samuel headed towards Jesse's home. Jesse has 8 boys. One of them is David. David is the youngest. So when Jesse was asked to present his children so that one of them could be anointed, Jesse produced the 7. And none of them, these are grown, physically built men who already probably have their own way of livelihood. And Prophet Samuel had to tell Jesse that he's hiding somebody. And then Jesse said, I'm not hiding anyone. The only one that you might say I'm hiding is David. David is a small boy. David is running after my herds in the bush. Probably when it comes back, you can see for yourself. Prophet Samuel waited until David arrived. As soon as David walks through the door, Prophet Samuel knew the king has walked in. So David was anointed to be the next king of Israel at a younger age. Why am I telling this story or bringing this story out of the Bible is that according to the Bible, David does not have that structure to be the king. He's not physically built. He's a small boy. And besides, he runs around the herds in the bush. Now, the same David killed Goliath. Goliath is a well-trained soldier, several feet tall, twice the size of the heftiest man. And the belief is anyone that can fight and beat Goliath, that makes the people of the Goliath will become captives to the people of Israel. Unfortunately, however, none of the well-trained soldiers of Israel could face Goliath. They were all afraid. And Goliath was talking in a ridiculous way about the God of Israel. So that got David upset. That who is that human being that is talking about God in that manner? And then he said he will face Goliath. The soldiers that were well trained, that were armed to the teeth, were afraid and were telling David, if you have to fight Goliath, then we need to dress you up as an army to go fight him. When David was dressed up, he told them to remove it, that he doesn't need all of those armor, bow and arrow, shield, or whatever. They were still afraid that David's going to get killed. But unfortunately, David only armed himself with a rubber sling and some pebble of rocks. The next thing that he armed himself with is belief in God. When it's time to fight, David only put one of the pebbles, not several, just one, in the sling. And he slingshot the rock, and the rock was straight to the center of the head of Goliath, according to the Bible. And Goliath fell. David rushed to him, grabbed his big sword, Goliath's big sword, and then cut off Goliath's head. Again, David has no structure, military structure, to fight Goliath. When you're talking about military structure, we're talking about armor to arm himself, war equipment, and not just that, the training, because those soldiers are veteran soldiers who have been trained over the years. David does not have any of those. No protective armor, no weapon of war like a spear, sword, and shield, and has no military background training. All he had was some pebbles, slingshot rubber, and then having belief in God. Those are his structures. Okay? But my point is, he eventually became the king of Israel. So if you're saying that Omoyele Sowore does not have the kind of a political structure that is in place for the incumbent, that is General Muhammadu Buhari, and then does not have the political structure that is in place for the PDP, so because of that, he cannot win the presidency. Pastor Sunday Adelaja, I'm sorry. On this one, you got it wrong. And you are not using your Bible. And you're not using the belief that you have in the Bible. You're not using the belief that you have in Yeshua. Now, I mentioned Yeshua. Not so many people knows him as Yeshua. Not even the so-called Christians. But his name is actually Yeshua. His name is not Jesus Christ. That's something else for another time. But what I'm saying is this. You do not need to have certain things that some people believe in. You might have some other things that some other people do not believe in. But guess what? If your mindset is truthful and you are honest, your conscience will carry you and make you prevail over others. Now, Omoyele Sowore has always claimed that his protection, his belief, is his conscience. Now, this is somebody that has history of fighting for the poor, for the less privileged, and always against the corrupt individuals and those that embezzles government money. He has zero tolerance for all this. And this is the reason why I have a staunch belief in him. So, Pastor Sunday Adelaja, again, let me bring to you, maybe you will remember, one of those disbelief that you have, but that confound you to your face. I noticed that you invited Prophet Austin Moses, who is based in London. And the reason why you invited him was because you had him prophesying somewhere, though he doesn't prophesy all the time, but he prophesied somewhere that there's going to be war in Ukraine. And you did not believe that there's going to be, there will ever be war in Ukraine. And you invited him 5 years after he prophesied. Even when he came, merely looking at him, his look, maybe because he looks like a yuppie guy because of his skin intonation, or maybe because of how he speaks, you thought he's one of those probably who is around to use gimmick to scam people. Only for you to admit with him eventually, like, okay, you know what? I never knew, I never believed it was going to happen. But hey, it has happened. So which means you do not believe in what he says. Look, Pastor Sunday Adelaja, you do not have to believe what other people says. But that doesn't mean you should not hear it, you should not internalize it, and you should not give it a thought. Because why? God works in so many ways, not in one way. Our God is not one-way dimension God. But his ways is truth. Okay? Because it says, the foundation of my throne is laced with truth and justice. It's in the Bible. So whoever intends to do something, and that person is truthful and has a mind to discern between wrong and right, God will always give such a person his support. So what am I saying is that Omoyele Sowore is AAC presidential candidate with his vice, Dr. Rubio. They're going to be the next Nigerian president. Now, I do know that people can rig, but with the way things are going, that you do not believe in the structure. Yes, it doesn't have all those structures, but guess what? The kind of structure that he has as of today, none of the presidential candidate has it. It has never happened in Nigeria. Why am I saying this? This is because there has been so many donations towards this cause. It started with the TIB, Take It Back, and then before AAC was registered as a political party. So people has been donating towards this cause, and it has been getting money. People has been donating their time, printing political posters, and then offering their vehicles and their probably buildings for offices. Okay, it doesn't really need to have the structure that is based, the structure that is firmly footed on corruption. Those structures you are talking about, were built on corruption. Everybody knows. And that's why they're shooting themselves in the foot as of today. And why am I saying that? The PDP runs to APC, some APC members run to PDP. They are all doing the same thing. When they are found to steal money or to be corrupt in their service as a governor, senator, whatever, and they find out the power in APC could send them to jail, they run to APC and then they rub hand on their head like, okay, you know what, you're welcome to APC. Okay? And then when PDP was in power, it's the same thing. But the bottom line is this: Omoyele Sowore has zero tolerance for corruption, for embezzlement, for nonchalant attitude towards work. If you are elected into a position, you are expected to discharge your duty as it should be. No laxity to the point that you only earn salary, you do not do the work. Or you go to work, you're sleeping. Or you go to work, you do not have what it takes to carry out the job. So, Omoyele Sowore has structure. His structure is his conscience. His conscience is based on what is called Spicer heat. Spicer heat has some other undertones, but primarily